thanks for coming in. Can you tell me what exactly is bringing you in here today?
Yeah, hi. It's been a rough morning. It's been exactly 14 months since my fiance died.
Okay.
Um, yeah, he died by suicide. I feel like it's a bit hard to tell people that. Some days I wake up and I feel like it's just a really bad dream that won't end. Um, my friends and my family say, like, time heals. Like, they always say, oh, time's a healer, but I feel like I don't feel healed at all.
Well, first off, I want to start and say I'm so sorry you had to go through that. A loss, especially suicide, it can bring so many complicated emotions. And so, how have things been for you day to day ever since then?
I don't know. I drag myself to work. I mean, I used to be so punctual and so organized. Like, I was always someone who was, like, on time all the time, but now I show up late, and honestly, I don't really even care to be there. I've lost, like, 27 pounds because I never really even feel like eating. I just feel really nauseous, like throwing up when I think about what happened. I can't really sleep at all. Like, when I do sleep, I wake up thinking of that night, and it just feels like my body is constantly tense.
That sounds exhausting and really painful. When you do think about him, what do you notice? What feelings start to come up?
I don't know. I miss him all the time. He was like he was like my best friend, and he was like my partner in crime, you know? Like, we met in college, and I don't know, we just like were together ever since, and I feel like I yearn for him constantly. I replay everything. Like, our last conversation was so silly. It was about like an argument about him leaving the garage open again, and I'm just like, I don't know. I keep asking myself if I missed signs, or if I could have stopped it. There's so much guilt that I carry, and sometimes I'm so angry. Like, I'm angry at him for leaving me all alone, and at the situation, and I most of all at myself. Um, but other times I feel completely numb. Like, I'm just like a shell of who I used to be before.
Well, let me tell you that what you're experiencing is very common after such a traumatic loss. And correct me if I'm wrong, but seems like you're experiencing a lot of intense emotions, such as longing, and you're replaying a lot of these what ifs in your thoughts, and you're feeling this mix of guilt, anger, and numbness.
Yeah, and I'm confused because people tell me, like, be grateful he's not suffering, but that doesn't exactly help me. It doesn't make the hole in me just disappear. If anything, it feels worse because I don't know how to hold both. You know, that he was suffering and that I miss him so much.
Yeah, that contradiction, this feeling that his suffering ended while also feeling this intense loss, it's very common, and it's really hard to sit with. How often would you say these intense feelings show up? Is it most days? Is it multiple times a day?
I would say it's most days. Some days it's constant, and other days it comes in waves. But I don't know. Sometimes when I sit there at work, I'm just like, I just remember like things we used to do. Like, we would like walk like our dog, and we would eat dinner together. Like, yeah. But other days, I mean, it comes in waves. But I can't go a day without thinking about him.
Okay, and you also mentioned you replay the last interaction you had with him a lot. So, do memories of the night itself come up as well?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel like I can't stop seeing the scene, and it feels like it's haunting me. I'll be just walking, and then suddenly I feel like I'm back there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember like the whole scene, and like, oh, I don't even want to remember it. Then it's like I'm losing him all over again.
Mm-hmm. This sense of disbelief that you're feeling, and this sudden re-experiencing when these moments intrude our thoughts. How do you cope with that when this happens?
I don't know. I try to avoid things that remind me. You know, I changed my route to work so I don't have to drive past the parking lot where it happened. I refuse invitations to places we used to go together. Yeah, and I stopped going to our favorite coffee shop because it felt so daunting. There's so many memories there, you know.
Mm-hmm. Avoidance can feel protective in the short term, but in the long term, it could also increase isolation when you need this the most. Have you noticed changes in your social relationships or in activities that you enjoyed ever since his death?
I kind of just stopped going to everything. I mean, I stopped going to my painting class. I used to go every week. He would drive me there.
Mm-hmm.
Friends do try to check in on me, but I mean, I don't really feel like answering. It kind of feels like a chore.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel really lonely, you know, even when people are around. And I did mention that he was my fiance, so I had to cancel all of our wedding venue meetings, and I can't really bring myself to sell the furniture and paintings that we picked out together for our apartment.
It sounds like you've put your life on hold as well. Like all these activities that you used to find pleasure in, your social connections with loved ones. How has this affected your work responsibilities?
I mean, I can't focus on anything really. My manager has asked to, you know, reassign some of my projects, and he's had to pull them. And honestly, like I loved work. I feel like I was really good at work. So I feel ashamed, you know, but at the same time, I'm like, how could I possibly even care?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't, what even is the point to care, you know?
Yeah, I get that. Thank you for sharing that with me. And you mentioned guilt, like this feeling that you might have missed signs. Can you tell me more about that? What are you replaying, or what do you think you might have missed?
I don't know. I mean, he was definitely quieter. He was a lot more withdrawn. I thought it was just stress from work. I just don't think he wanted to burden me with how he felt, but I didn't know how deep he felt. And I keep thinking back to the morning when he left, like, and whether or not I should have canceled my meeting or even called off of work, like what would have happened. And I know asking myself all of these what ifs it's counterproductive, but I feel responsible, even though like rationally I know I can't control everything.
Mm-hmm. These what ifs and self-blame that you're experiencing, it's unfortunately very common after a suicide loss, where people will often look for explanations, and sometimes they'll direct it inward when it was an outward environmental factor. And it's understandable that you can feel responsible, but I want you to realize that it's not an accurate representation of what happened. And have you noticed any physical changes in your sleep, appetite, any headaches that relate to how you're feeling?
Well, I already said I don't sleep well.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up a lot, and when I get a few hours, I still feel really drained. I have these headaches every day. I used to get headaches a lot, but these are different.
Mm-hmm.
And my muscles just ache. And I used to run a lot. I used to run like every day, but I stopped. I don't really want to go to the gym or walk on the trail we used to walk on. We used to walk every day.
Mm-hmm. And you've also mentioned being angry earlier. At who or at what do you feel angry about?
I think just everyone. Like I'm angry at him for leaving, and I'm angry at the system that didn't help him, and I'm myself for not doing more. I mean, my family and my friends are moving on, and I'm not moving on, and I feel like there's like a bitterness that I didn't expect. But maybe this is selfish of me, but I feel ashamed admitting that I'm so mad at him for abandoning me.
It makes sense to have a lot of anger. Grief can contain many intense emotions, even ones that can conflict against one another. And how have people around you reacted to your grief?
I mean, some friends tell me that I need to be moving on, which I feel like is not helpful at all. Others try to be supportive but don't know how. I feel like they wouldn't understand. It's not like their fiance killed themselves. And my mom tells me to get back to normal. I'm just like, how is this helpful? It's not, I don't know. I feel pressure to move on and grieve in a certain way. And when I don't meet that, I feel judged. And that makes me withdraw even more.
This pressure, it can add on to the sense that your reaction is wrong, and when in truth your grief is your own to experience. And I want to thank you, and you have taken a big step coming in here today. We're going to work together at a pace that feels safe and comfortable for you. We're going to help you process this grief, the guilt, the anger, and to slowly help you reconnect to your life. Is there anything else you want to let me know before we finish?
I mean, not really. To be honest, I'm just terrified of forgetting him. I'm terrified that if I move on, it means I'm betraying him.
That's a very real fear to experience, and a part of our work can be to find ways to remember him that also feel like you're honoring him, but also allowing you to live your own life. You can carry him with you without losing him. But I want to thank you for sharing these experiences with me. You did really important work today, and I want to thank you for trusting me with this.